Hello everyone, this is Moses, the one who help you if you're interested in studying in Korea. And in today's video, I want to talk about the process to graduate in a Korean university. Guys, a lot of you wonder whether is it hard, is it easy, or the procedures to graduate in a Korean university. So before you come to Korea or before you decide that you want to study in Korea, I want to tell you the procedures to graduate in a Korean university. So let's get it! First of all, before I talk about the graduation process in a Korean university, I want to talk about the difficulty or how hard it is to graduate in a Korean university. And you watching this video, I don't know about your country, but in most of the countries, it's easy for an admission or it's easy to enter in a university but hard to graduate. That's why sometimes there are failures, and if you fail a few times you might even be kicked out of the school, right? But here in Korea it's different. It's just the opposite. To be honest, in Korea it's hard to be admitted in a Korean university, but the graduation is easy. Of course, there is this system of warning or explosion, but there is no word as failing. To be honest, there's not that a burden to graduate, because here in a Korean university, if you attend the class well and fill up all your credit very well, there's no burden for the graduation. So keep that in mind. Then, what kind of process do you need to go through in order to graduate in a Korean university? First of all, I want you to know that it is different for foreigners and Korean student. Foreigners and Korean student have a different requirement to graduate. Of course, each school is different, and there are some schools that have the same system, but it is more easy for foreigners to graduate compared to Korean student. When you see at the system, they try to to support more the foreign students compared to Korean students. Then, shall we take a look at what's the requirement for graduation in Korean university? To explain it to you, well, I have been capturing one data for one department in the Korean university, and if you look here, the requirement is that you have to take at least 130 credits. So this means that you have to complete a total of 130 credits in 8 semesters. By the way, in these 130 credits, basically they are lecture required by the school and the lecture required by your major. So in the total, you have to take 130 credits. It is usually divided in mandatory credit and optional credit. Mandatory credit are credit that you have to take as an obligation, and optional credit are credit that allow you to take the lecture you want just as your choice. And I will explain the mandatory credit and optional credit in more details while explaining the curriculum in the next video. Basically, you can think, oh, it's just taking 130 credit for the combined mandatory and optional credit. And it's not just that you will graduate if you take those credit. You have to keep in mind that in many cases you need to get also good grade, which is it has to be higher than 2.0 GPA. This is the second graduation requirement. Guys, almost all the schools required to have a very good language proficiency certificate. As I mentioned before, the Korean student and foreign student, the graduation requirement are different, right? This is the biggest difference. For Korean students, they have to submit other certificate rather than Korean, which is English, TOEIC or TOEFL or IELTS or some Chinese like certificate. And for us foreigners, of course, we have to submit the topic certificate because we have to be good at the Korean language. Usually, entrance requirement for Korean university is topic, right? And if you submitted like a topic certificate level 3 when in your admission, when you are applying for the school, like before you graduate, you have to upgrade your topic certificate and submit at least level 4 or level 5. So, and to be honest, I don't think it's a problem because if you live in Korea for 4 years while studying, getting a topic level 4 or 5, it's not that a big problem. So keep improving your Korean language. The next is the thesis and the graduation exam. Guys, to be honest, I thought that I will had to write and submit the thesis or to pass the graduation exam, but I realized that there are a lot of universities that doesn't require the thesis. Recently, there are more universities that doesn't require to write a thesis because nowadays even like the individual thesis they have been changed to team thesis, and nowadays even if you will have to write a thesis, I think the professor in your school will come to you when you will be in the second semester, in the second year, and explain to you how you will do your thesis. And usually, like students write thesis in their 4th year, so keep that in mind. And also in Korea, there is a graduation exam you have to pass. But recently, there are many universities that don't require to pass the graduation exam either. But usually, when you pass that graduation exam, it's a combination of all your courses and what you learned in your major, and you have to pass the exam and get at least 60% in all your classes. So, this is not easy, but you can do it. Then, shall we make a summary? In order for you to graduate from a Korean university, a total of 130 credits must be divided into mandatory credit and optional credit. And you need to have a topic certificate level 4 or level 5. And finally, submit your thesis or take a graduation exam to graduate from a Korean university. I think I don't know if people will ask if the thesis or graduation exam isn't difficult, but as I said at the beginning, Korean university tend to help a lot foreign students to graduate. In fact, there aren't many cases where student was not able to graduate. So I think you don't have to worry, it will be fine. Yes guys, today we looked at graduation process here in Korea, in Korean university. How was it? Did you get any idea on how things work? So if you have anything you're curious about Korean life or living here in Korea, please feel free to comment below and I will come up with another informative video. See you next time. Bye. In Korean university, you have to pass a thesis or graduation exam, and there aren't many cases where we have to pass both, so don't worry. And even for us foreigners, there are many cases where we don't take both, so just don't worry, it's fine.